What are you optimizing for? I'm serious. Think about that. You're optimizing for something. Maybe it's money, title at work, some sort of extracurricular thing you value. What are you optimizing for, though? I'll challenge you what you really want. If you boil it down and you've had enough life experience, it's one thing: freedom. Freedom is what we all need to optimize for. Now, realize that my definition of freedom is different than yours, and it must be. They're unique, and we need to define what that looks like. But this idea of freedom, you might think it's a tangible thing. Like, I need a certain amount of money, I need a certain type of house, I need a certain type of job. That's what creates freedom. But no, freedom, when you get to the essence, is a feeling. Freedom is a feeling, and that's what we're after. We need to intentionally design for it. And that's what we're going to talk about in this episode. I've got 5 types of freedom. It's my freedom framework. We're going to look at them individually and discuss how they work together and how we build towards them. And lastly, if you're interested in more topics like this around how to live uncaged, how to create more freedom in your life, even while in corporate, check out Wednesday Wisdom at matthewdoan.com. Let's get to it.
Growing up, society taught you to follow the script by choosing a career path and climbing the ladder. But for many people, this promise falls flat. Work suffocates them and life becomes painful. Here, you're trapped in what I call the corporate cage. Fortunately, there's a way out. You can take control of your corporate job and unlock a life of freedom. I call this living uncaged. Hi, this is your host, Matt Doan. I'm a coach, creator, and entrepreneur. Uncaging people is my mission because it's been my exact life journey. This show provides you the stories, principles, and tactics to make it happen. Welcome to Uncage Yourself.
All right, I've got 3 parts for today's episode. Part 1 is freedom is a feeling. Part 2 is the freedom framework, which is 5 types of freedom that we should aim for. And then the third part is how these freedoms work in concert. All right, part 1, freedom is a feeling. Let me ask you this. Why do you do anything? I'll challenge you that it's not for the immediate reward. You don't get a job because you want the title. You don't get the promotion because you actually want the money. You don't get married because you want the spouse. No, actually, because we are all chemical beings and we are seeking all sorts of chemical doses in our body, is that we want a feeling. We want the good feeling that comes with any decision, whether it's getting married, whether it's getting a job, financial gain, whatever it is. We want the good feeling. And we want as many good feelings as we can day after day. That's how we're wired. So keep in mind, you want good feelings. And freedom is a feeling. Feeling free, on your own, autonomous, untethered, whatever term you want to use. It's that ability to be on your own terms. You could feel free, frankly, wherever you are. It's a decision, first and foremost, that you choose to be free, and then you act in accordance with that. So if I'm within a corporate environment, even if I've got all these meetings I've got to go to potentially, and I've got certain deliverables or people I have to work with or clients, I can say, I'm going to be free. And within reason, here's what it looks like to be free within this corporate behemoth that I work within. And I'm going to be reasonable, but I'm going to set my guardrails. I'm going to set my intention on how it feels, how I'm going to show up, so that when I close that day, I'm like, damn, I was really free, especially compared to everyone else. I was really free. And I bought back all this time and energy for myself, and I can use it in other ways. I can be there for friends and family. I've got energy on the side to build something else on the outside that gives me meaning and purpose. So keep in mind, freedom is a feeling. You choose it and you move towards it with intention. Okay, second part. There are 5 types of freedom. I call it my freedom framework. 5 things: time, financial freedom, relationship freedom, freedom of purpose, freedom of health. Okay. Time, finance, relationships, purpose, health. First one, time freedom. Time freedom is something I'm obsessed with because it unlocks so much else. When we have our time more and more to ourselves, we can expend it towards things that give us meaning, joy, purpose, financial reward, all sorts of good feelings. Remember, feeling is what we're after. So when our time is ours, we can really do great things that give us that feeling of a well-lived life. So take this within a corporate context, which is often my focus here. If you're able to look at the typical day, maybe that you've been managing or what others are expecting of you, and ask yourself, how do I reduce the amount of effort I need to give within this day? All sorts of strategies and tactics to make this real. You can check out my Creating Time Freedom at Work episode on how to make this real. But as you conserve time and energy, you direct it towards higher value things of your choosing. Again, whether that's self-care, extracurriculars, friends, family, building a side hustle, investing in different assets because you want to build a financial future that you're proud of. You need to conserve time. Time freedom is absolutely vital. And you can also think about it very tactically. If you get to a point with enough finances, you can start to buy back your time. For example, I no longer mow my lawn. I no longer take care of it. I have people help clean my home too. And that's a very privileged thing to say. And it's not to say that I'm not paying appropriately. I am. But I value my time so much that I would rather pay adding to the economy that way and buy back my time to be with family, to be creative, whatever it needs to be. So creating time freedom is vital. Second point is financial freedom. And this is probably the most prevalent one. If you look across social media, hashtag financial freedom, you see all these efforts to build income streams and to build wealth generating assets. The idea is, how can you get a flywheel in motion, a personal flywheel, if you will, that is about creating income. And then you take that income and you funnel it towards assets that build more and more wealth. So for example, you might have a very strategic way of earning corporate salary, right? And you're trying to get the most money you can for the least effort. And then maybe you have a side hustle where you're doing some coaching on the side or some personal physical fitness type activities, or you're selling some sort of product digitally, you sell code. There's different ways that you can earn income, of course, but then you funnel it very systematically and hopefully through automation towards building assets, right? You might be buying real estate. You might be in syndicated apartment purchasing, these sorts of things. You might be in crypto investment. You might be funneling it directly into the stock market. There's all sorts of ways that you can generate wealth through assets. You want assets, and those assets grow, and assets that buy assets, right? That's how we create financial freedom. And then, of course, as you create financial freedom, you can use it to buy back your time, to buy other assets. So it's this beautiful cycle where it all works together. Third type of freedom is relationship freedom. Think about all the people that you've been hanging around, whether they're friends, family, coworkers, even old influences, books that you've read, authors that have influenced you today. You have to ask yourself, have I graduated from that circle? Do I now need to say goodbye, or at least reduce the time spent with these people because they no longer serve me? And instead, surround yourself with people and ideas that inspire, uplift, and even scare you, because you need to be shocked out of your comfort zone again and again. If you're going to create more freedom in your life, you need people, networks, opportunities, serendipity that transpires so you get more freedom opportunities. And by being around the right people and ideas and curating that very carefully, you just block out the noise and just kind of optimize for signal, right? The right people in your lives. If you have 5 or 10, like a tribe of mentors in your world, dead or alive, 5 or 10 people that are influencing you again and again, day after day, and you constantly upgrade that over time, think where you'll be 1, 5, 10 years from now, just because you chose to be around a certain group of people and blocked out the rest. Think about that. Fourth part, freedom of purpose. I've talked about this before, but don't expect your corporate job to bring you meaning or purpose. Just don't expect it. Odds are against you. And if you find it, great. That's just icing on the cake. When you're in corporate, you should be maximizing the utility, the skills, the money, the benefits, taking that and building financial and time freedom through that. Freedom of purpose is something of your own making. It's not externally given to you. You have to create it. So that might be your purpose is as a parent. It's caring for others through some charity. It could be you're a little league baseball coach, and I get a lot of purpose out of doing that myself. You might be finding purpose through a business on the side that may not be creating a livelihood for your family yet, but at the same time, it feels purposeful. You're giving back to people that you seek to serve, and that's purpose right there. Even if you're not getting the financial reward that you would hope eventually, at the beginning, you're getting that purpose, and that is important because we need this feeling of freedom, this feeling of purpose, right? Get the chemicals going through your body. That's what we want to experience, good feelings. And then the last type of freedom is freedom of health. We need to make sure that we're ensuring a healthy mind and body that keeps us functioning and energized for decades and decades. If we don't get that right, none of this works. We have to feel good, mind and body, creative, in the zone, fresh. We have to be well rested, all these things. So do what you need to do there between exercise, nutrition, sleep, all those things. We need to make sure that we're optimizing for health freedom too. So we just talked about the 5 freedoms. Now let me get to the third part, which is around this stuff all works together. These types of freedoms, these 5 freedoms are one integrated network, right? Collectively, 5 freedoms. We've got time, financial, relationship, purpose, and health. 5 freedoms work together. As you increase one, the odds are that you're increasing the others. And as you intentionally make movement, say in health, you can make movement. And as you intentionally make movement in the health arena, you can then dial up more efforts in the financial arena where you might be able to use that conserved time and energy to go build a business on the side that creates more income in your world, these sorts of things. But they work together. And as you increase all 5 freedoms, then you're going to feel more free. And you can feel free wherever you are, within corporate, outside of corporate, at home. It's a choice. But you also have to take deliberate action to make it real. We know that. You can't just wish it into existence. As much as I love the law of attraction, you have to pair it with action, okay? So think about dialing up one, then another, and continually asking yourself, what can I do to make more freedom a reality in my world? And I'll say this once again, no, you don't need to leave corporate to feel, to be free. You can create freedom right where you are. So we talked about the 5 freedoms, how to make them real, how they all work in concert. It's a feeling. It's that feeling that we're after. So go make it a reality. We'll chat soon.
Hey, Matt here. Thanks for listening to Uncage Yourself. For show notes and more content like this, head over to uncageyourself.fm. And if you liked what you heard, I'd appreciate you leaving a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Until next time, be well, my friend.